My name is Luanne Seymour, and I'm a textile artist on Whidbey Island in Washington State. I'd like to tell you about my napkin project. After decades of a design career in Silicon Valley, I've had countless opportunities to create a napkin drawing, usually a paper napkin. This is a story about how my art has helped me through a very difficult time. Recently, 4 of my immediate family members died, and I was feeling overwhelmed with grief. I am the de facto family photographer, so it fell to me to create slideshows for each of their memorial services. I spent hundreds of hours gathering, sorting, and scanning family pictures. It has taken a couple of years to deal with 3 different estates, selling houses, cars, packing, and donating all kinds of belongings. Among other things, I ended up with my mom's table linens. Naturally, they are all white. Amidst grief, bad news, and the pandemic, I needed some happiness, so I turned to my family photos to cheer me up. This is the time I brought lobsters home with me on the plane after teaching Photoshop for 2 weeks in Maine. What better place to sketch my happy memories than onto the cloth that witnessed countless dinners, tipsy toasts, birthday and holiday celebrations. This is my friend's daughter walking my grandson to the beach. I used favorite photos to make simplified drawings. Then I transferred them onto the napkins to stitch. Most of the time, the photos weren't that great, but it didn't matter. I was interested in the gestures and the body language. Here's my nephew's great uncle teaching him to use an old camera. The photo qualities that worked best as my source material were candid, had no smiles with teeth. Teeth are hard to stitch, were of humans engaged fully with each other, and were people I love. This is my best friend and her daughter at the beach. I worked on reduction of details to the most important gestures. Economy of line was my goal. This was the day my daughter left for college, and she said goodbye to her brother and his best friend. Rather than black thread, I used a variegated indigo pearl cotton from Art Fabric. The left image is my son-in-law helping my grandson get dressed for a family wedding. The right image is my other grandson after his first pony ride. On some facial features, I used a finer thread. The pearl cotton was too heavy for some details. Left is my daughter and grandson feeding our town's rabbits. Right is my stepfather showing my son how a nutcracker works. To mute the background detail, I used a very pale blue thread. I wanted that detail in the image, but didn't want it to take away from the main subject. Here is my niece getting her first pony ride with her moms. Art Fabric didn't have a pale blue thread in the pearl cotton, so I bought white and dyed it with a wash of blue. This is my son and his cousin at Sun River, Oregon. My favorite napkins turned out to be woven linen. The cotton damask ones were harder to stitch on because of the complex weave. This is my ex-husband and our nephew who liked to use a ping pong paddle as his guitar. I found that I loved stitching the architectural parts of the images too, the furniture, buildings, and trees. Left is my niece feeding her cousin. Right is my sister-in-law at the playground. My friends began to give me napkins they'd gotten from their relatives. Sometimes I didn't use the whole napkin. Sometimes I did. Left is my son's 4th birthday. Right is my son and his 2 nephews leaving the ukulele shop in Lahaina. It was so soothing to stitch the lines of the faces of the people I love. Here is my mom working a crossword puzzle with my niece. It was before she got dementia, and it made me happy to think about her then. Some of the napkins had edging and embroidery. I let that become part of the overall image. Here is my husband teaching our grandson in the woodshop. I never imagined I'd like embroidering images of tools, but I did. By August 2022, I had created over 35 napkin drawings. I knew I'd never get another chance to show them together, so I hung them on a clothesline in our garden at my open studio tour. Hey, thanks for listening. I wrote a blog article about this project, and you can see the whole project in a video that my friend made at my studio tour. Please visit my website if you'd like to learn more about it.